Obama's bid to take over colleges in the United States. That's what we'll talk about today. Did you catch the line in his State of the Union when he said that he would condition federal scholarship aid, Pell Grants and such, on the colleges and universities whose students receive them offering value in education and holding down costs? What that means is that the federal government is going to use its power to grant scholarships to individual students to take over the higher education system in the United States. That's because the government's done such a wonderful job of running the rest of the education system in the United States into the ground. So what they're going to do is to require colleges to prove that they're efficient in the way that they operate, that they're providing value for the tuition. They'll probably impose a cap on administrative expenses. They'll probably regulate professional salaries to professors and stuff like that. And probably it's a very short step toward taking over the curriculum and insisting on diversity education and sustainable education and sustainable environments and all that kind of stuff. This is the second front in a war Obama has been waging ever since he became president, which is a war on private profit-making colleges. He is literally trying to put them out of business. First step in doing that was to federalize the entire student loan program. Then he's been going after their tax status, and particularly aiming at private colleges that are for-profit institutions. Now, the fact of the matter is that private colleges, because they're run privately and run competitively, do a much better job of holding down tuition than public colleges do. There are many, many colleges that are private, including one called York College in Pennsylvania that I studied in particular, that require 12 hours from their professors, not the usual 6, sometimes 9, but not the usual 6, limit their administrative expenses to 10%, and adopt other policies where the tuitions are usually half of what they are at comparable private institutions. But this is really an Obama attempt to federalize, exert state control over higher education throughout the United States. Eventually, we're going to end up with a system very similar to that in California, where the University of California, that obviously has some superb campuses like UCLA, has a policy that the top 5% of all students in every high school in California are automatically admitted to the university, and tuition is free up to $128,000 of household income. And what that does is it means that from your good schools, the top 5% get in, and from your bad schools, the top 5% get in. And the 5% from the bad schools take the places of the top 20 or 30 or 40% from the good schools who are more qualified to attend than the top 5% from the bad schools. It's sort of affirmative action carried to the nth degree. But blithely submitting into that State of the Union message his idea about federal control of colleges is really scary. Now, here's what needs to happen in the student loan industry. First of all, it is absurd that student loans are not extinguishable in bankruptcy. What are these, life sentences, debtor's prison? Yeah, if somebody defaults on a student loan and goes into bankruptcy, there should be consequences, a failure to get mortgages or credit cards or other stuff for a period of time, and other things like that. And of course, tax liability should not be forgivable. But not to forgive a student loan? The current legislation also prohibits refinancing of student loans. So if you borrowed a student loan 10 years ago and you paid 7, 8, or 9% interest, and now you could refinance it at 2 or 3 or 4%, you're not allowed to do so. You're allowed one refinancing right after you graduate, and that's it. You're stuck for the rest of your life. And don't underestimate the drag on the economy of all of these kids who are getting out of college with these massive debts that stop them from buying their first home, buying a car, and doing the other kinds of stuff that really is necessary to stimulate the American economy. It's a very, very serious problem. So the college costs do need reform. They do need it by competition among the colleges. They need it in holding down tuition. Colleges cannot continue these outrageous costs. Online universities will ultimately put these brick and mortar colleges out of business and will force lower tuition rates. But in the meantime, let's keep the federal government out of it. It's the wrong solution. Thanks a lot for watching.